It is more than 1,300 miles from Denver to Seattle, and we're gonna try to make this trip in an EV. Somebody call us a tow truck.
Drive a 2N100E with less than 10% battery.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. It's fantastic. Room to make a big mistake, as those chicks used to say.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Eileen ran into Starbucks. It's going to be a mystery taste test.
Get in my belly.
Yeah.
Ooh, that van has bullet holes in it.
Eileen about to make an illegal turn here. Oh.
It's not illegal. It doesn't say I can't. It just also doesn't say I can.
Our public charging infrastructure sucks. Finding a place to plug in and juice up that isn't overcrowded or simply broken is all too often an exercise in frustration. But Volvo is working with an unexpected partner to remedy this problem. Perhaps you've heard of a little enterprise called Starbucks? The bean and brew vendor is not really known for anything automotive, except perhaps for its drive-thrus, but the Seattle-based coffee company is playing a surprising role in building out our national EV infrastructure. Together, these two firms have installed about 50 chargers at 15 different Starbucks locations across the Great American West, a seriously underserved region of the country. And at about 100 miles apart, you're never very far from a safe, clean, familiar, and reliable place to juice up your EV. ChargePoint provides the hardware, though the chargers themselves are owned and maintained by Volvo. It's also important to note that these are public chargers with both CCS and CHAdeMO outlets, so nearly any EV owner can roll up and top off their vehicle's battery. Though I will say, Volvo drivers may receive preferential rates or potentially even free charging. So putting all of this to the test, we will be doing the Denver to Seattle drive in this video, and I'll be joined by Eileen Falkenberg-Hull of Newsweek, who has promised to provide lively commentary and force me to consume way too much caffeine. I'll tell you, I'm anxious to see what Volvo and Starbucks have built here. I mean, will we make it? Are the chargers reliable? What kind of kilowatts will we see while juicing up? And of course, will I get sick of Starbucks? Probably. Our chariots for this epic trip will be 2024 versions of the C40 Recharge and XC40 Recharge. We'll be testing the new single motor rear-wheel drive trim, and these are the first rear-drive Volvos offered in the US in some 25 years. But that is not all that's new. Oh no. Engineers made many other changes to these vehicles for the latest model year, some of which are huge. And we'll get to those important details very soon, but first, we've got to hit the road. We're starting out in Broomfield, Colorado, and we've got Grand Junction set as our destination, a totally manageable distance of about 275 miles. Along the way, we'll charge and dine at Starbucks. It's not just coffee, folks.
Snacks, too.
Potato crisps.
Do you need video of me?
Yeah, I want. Now, I'm not a picky eater, but I do take my Java as black as tar, and I never eat at the coffee chain. This will give Eileen plenty of opportunities to challenge my taste buds with all the weird and wonderful fare offered by Starbucks.
I got 3 breakfasts for us to split.
Okay.
As one does. Okay, so I got you these.
What a some sort of dumpling?
No, it's an egg white bite. But
Okay.
there's 3 different flavors. I believe that is, okay, so that's the whites. I think there's some that are not just whites. I don't know.
It looks very manufactured.
Technically, it's the egg white egg bite.
Okay.
All of them.
Let's see.
Egg white bites aren't terrible. Like, they're good for you, relatively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear your teeth. There's no texture to the egg white.
There's no taste to the egg white. It needs like a fistful of salt. Okay. People pay for these?
Exorbitantly.
Okay. No, that would not be my recommendation, but
Okay.
all right.
Here's
That's
another
fine.
type of egg white.
Is this another egg? This looks like an egg yolk bite.
It is.
Yellow.
I think it has both the yolk and the albumin in it. It is.
Ooh, you're really selling it.
This has bacon in it.
Okay, I like that. I
Yeah.
like bacon. Bacon is delicious.
Okay.
But let's see. Okay. Yeah, it has some flavor.
Okay.
That one gets another. It gets like a third bite.
Okay. All right.
2 bites out of 3.
Okay.
Okay.
This one
Okay.
is a kale mesh egg bite. It's MSH. So I'm gonna say you let that be your guide.
All right, let's see. This is the kale infused egg bite.
I've never had these before. So.
Egg white bite. Okay. What did you get as your beverage?
So this time of year, because it's winter-ish, I enjoy a hot apple juice with a little bit of cinnamon syrup in it. They sell it as a caramel apple spice as well, which they add whipped cream and caramel sauce to it, but I don't do that because, you know, diabetes, no. So yeah, so just a hot apple juice with a little bit of cinnamon. It kind of tastes almost like a not quite mulled, and it is apple cider. It's delicious.
Is it caffeinated?
Uh-uh.
It's not caffeinated?
No, I'm naturally like this. Lunch is also at Starbucks.
Oh, really?
It is.
Oh, good.
Or unless I make you take me to an Arby's.
Well, it's a drive-through. I mean, it's very easy. So we've got a lot of driving to do. Hurry up, finish your breakfast.
Sorry.
We have to hit the road.
My eggs are taking a while.
I've noticed.
You can
And
try
please
while
chew
I
with
eat.
your mouth closed.
You can try while I eat.
And scene.
Our XC40 Recharge ate up the first 275 odd miles with ease, leaving us both in surprisingly good shape by the end of the day. Comfortable seats make all the difference on long road trips, and we'll be putting those front buckets to the test tomorrow, which is by far the longest segment of this drive. We'll start in Grand Junction, Colorado, and end in Twin Falls, Idaho, around 509 miles away. This will take an estimated 11 hours and 40 minutes to complete, so wish us luck.
Eileen, we're going to the first Starbucks of the day. This is what the Google tells us on the dashboard. Up, over, around, boom, 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 boom. But then over in the instrument cluster, it's just, you know, hang a right and then go straight. Why? Why are they different?
I have no answers. I am not Tim Apple. I can't tell you. But it feels wrong.
I need to send a coarsely worded email.
But don't let this little multimedia snafu deter you. The updated 2024 C40 Recharge and XC40 Recharge are excellent all-electric SUVs that offer a lot more than you might expect.
So for starters, these SUVs feature a permanent magnet electric motor that was actually developed in-house by Volvo, so they're not purchasing these dynamos from a third-party supplier. And of course, it is mounted at the back of this SUV. It is the rear-wheel drive trim, and the motor provides 248 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, which is perfectly fine for everyday driving. It gives very good performance, although these are not the quickest EVs on the road today. Additionally, rear-wheel drive versions of the C40 and XC40 Recharge also feature a new 82 kilowatt-hour battery pack. It's a good bit bigger than the 78 kilowatt-hour pack that is available in other trims. And of course, this pack is not only larger, but it also DC fast charges much quicker than the other battery. It tops out at an impressive 200 kilowatts, which is much better than the 155 or so that the 78 kilowatt hour pack can deliver. And that new charging rate is enough to get you from 10 to 80% in a very respectable 28 minutes. As for range, these new rear-drive Volvos do not disappoint. In EPA testing, the XC40 Recharge should be able to go 293 miles with a full battery, while the C40 Recharge is expected to be rated at 297 miles. Now, of course, we like to see 300 on a full charge, but honestly, that is very, very close. And of course, it is a huge upgrade over what you get in twin motor versions of these SUVs. Now, aside from those foundational changes, these two Volvo models are just as lovely as ever. They have a beautiful upscale interior. You also get a Google-based infotainment system, which includes a whole bunch of services, things like Google Assistant, there's the Google Play Store, and of course, ever useful Google Maps, which we've been relying on heavily, and it normally works quite well, although we did have a couple minor issues earlier on, though that has not prevented us from getting where we needed to go. The seats in this vehicle are also extremely comfortable, front and rear, plus we've got a lovely wool blend fabric that feels surprisingly premium. Now, all of that being said, these Volvos are not quite as luxurious as, say, some of Mercedes-Benz's latest EVs, nor do they charge as quickly as Hyundai's eGMP-based models, but damn if these cars aren't extremely well balanced and, frankly, good at just about everything. Honestly, the XC40 Recharge, the C40 Recharge in this rear-wheel drive trim are frankly very easy to recommend for folks that are in the market for an upscale EV.
It's the Nissan Arno.
We're going to Utah. Oh, Jesus, that sounds right. Okay.
Yeah, you'll find him in Salt Lake City, maybe, at the temple. Look at that natural beauty. Can they import some of that to the Midwest, please?
That speed limit. Hello,
That's
friends.
called freedom.
God bless Utah.
So, Eileen, we've been driving for a day and a little bit. How's
Yes.
the trip going so far?
Well, my companion's terrible, but the car's great. That's the good news.
Right.
I'm really overwhelmed by a sense of balance here with the Volvo. So, as you were saying in your commentary earlier, Volvo is all about balance. It's about offering affordability, but also a premium product. It's got great range. It's comfortable as all get out. I don't think my butt has been this comfortable in a while in a seat on a long road trip. And it's also finely appointed. It's not embarrassing to be in this vehicle.
No.
I like the subtle exterior color that we have. It's just an all-around great package.
And this is an older product, too. These are not like brand new EVs, but they've got a surprising amount of life in them, especially with these upgrades. They keep making them better and better.
Well, and that's one of the bonuses of having over-the-air updatable technology.
I think Volvo's doing a great job with their, well, really for maybe the last 10 years with their sort of latest crop of products. They're doing a fantastic job.
And honed for the Volvo customer. They're not trying to go after, an AMG customer. They're not going after a Hyundai customer. They know who they are as a company. And there's something really to be said for that as we transition into this electric vehicle frontier, is that they're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but they also know who they are and they're comfortable with that. And they're giving the best product for their customers.
I think more OEMs need to sort of stick to their knitting, if it were. Know what you do, know what you do well, and cater to that market. Like Lexus built its entire empire on offering reliable and comfortable and smooth riding cars. And they've kind of completely gotten away from that in a lot of ways.
Lexus is a mess.
Yeah.
The effects of mass market decisions trickle down into the premium and luxury arms. And so I think that's what you're seeing with Toyota and Lexus. You're seeing those cost-cutting maneuvers that you see with Toyota. I mean, you get into a new Crown, I guess it's a sedan. I mean, it wants to be something else. It is. But you get into that and you're like, this is cheap. The BZ4X feels cheap. And Toyota never felt like that. It felt like it was good budget-conscious materials and good budget-conscious quality. And that reliability factor. And it's like, Toyota's just lost their way.
And of course, we're relying completely on this new Volvo charging network, which so far I've been very impressed by. But the bar is pretty low, I would say. So it doesn't take a lot to make a good impression. But what are your observations so far?
Yeah, so we have been relying on the charging network, and I think that this way the charging network is structured is very similar to how we're going to see the Mercedes-Benz charging network play out. It's a little bit of what GM's doing now at the Flying J travel stops and et cetera, and how Love's travel stops have charging stations. it's all that one-stop shop where you're stopping to charge, but you're also getting convenience store items. At Starbucks, you can open up the laptop and sit there and work for half an hour, as we've done. You can do those things along the way, and that makes it charging on the go a more viable concept.
Correct.
But you relying on the Starbucks charging network using ChargePoint has been great. I mean, the chargers, not all of them are charging as fast as advertised, but they're in great working order, but it is brand new.
Yes, it's
so
brand
I think
new.
the proof is in the pudding, right? Like 6 to 12 months down the road, what does it look like?
Yep.
When they've survived a winter in the Western states,
Yeah.
what is it going to look like? And it's really interesting that Volvo is taking responsibility.
They're owning and maintaining them.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. And I will say the car having almost 300 miles of range.
That's a huge help.
That's a huge factor. We could not do the drive we're doing right now without having a car that has 300 miles of range. It is a
and
long
it's relatively cool out. It's below 40 degrees, and there are mountains and hills. We're climbing one right now, and I'm slowing down a little bit because we have about 18 miles to go and 30 miles of range in the tank, so to speak. So I'm going a little bit conservative, just to make sure we actually get there, because I ain't pushing. That's going to be you.
No, I'm
It's
sorry.
all you, Eileen.
No, I am very comfortable with calling for a rescue. I am not comfortable with pushing a car.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
agree to disagree then.
I will, however, film you pushing the car.
Okay,
I'm happy
fair
to
enough,
do that.
fair enough.
Happy to.
All right, we made it to our charging stop here in Utah. We've got 11% range in the battery, an estimated 25 miles left, so quite comfortable. Cutting it a little closer than I would have liked, but still with enough in reserve. But now it's time for a quick stop in Price, Utah to grab a few electrons. And rather than just cooling our heels, we've decided to check out a local attraction, one with a few relics that are still powering millions of vehicles around the world. Yeah, I'm talking about dinosaur juice, freshly squeezed about 65 million years ago. He gets a handicap placard, poor guy. This quote needs attribution. What did you think of the prehistoric museum?
10 out of 10. Kitsch galore. The best dinosaurs this side of eastern Utah. I got you a little gift, Craig.
That's very kind of you and completely unnecessary.
It is completely unnecessary, and I've been told by your producer, Ben, that I will regret this choice, but I felt as if it was necessary to get something to commemorate our time together. So, without further ado...
Prehistoric buzzer and bull roar kit? What the f***? Make one wood buzzer and one bull roar. Traditional prehistoric... Wow, I'm not sure why to thank you, but that's fun and relaxing, it says.
I was told you would enjoy the name.
I'm indifferent about buzzer, but bull roar, look at how much fun these kids aren't having. Michael, smile.
We all smile through the pain.
Well, we'll be using this a little bit later today. Thank you, Eileen. That's very kind.
You're welcome.
We're at what should be our last charging stop of the day. Of course, at another Starbucks. Eileen ran inside to get some sort of surprise treat. I have no idea what it is, but hopefully she will be back very soon and we can get back on the road here, because we are at 98%. Our goal is to hit 100. So we're very close to that. And again, hopefully we can hit the road very soon. And look at that. Hello.
Hello, Gregory.
Welcome back.
It's getting chilly out there.
It is very chilly out there.
Yes, I have brought you a treat.
Another treat. Okay, I'm very excited.
It's the solid form, not the liquid form this time.
And is this a seasonal delicacy?
It is.
Okay.
It is a Starbucks seasonal delicacy.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites. This particular item is thicker than in the past I've had
Okay.
it, so I don't know exactly how it's going to measure up.
Okay.
But I usually have a little thinner. But it is incredibly delicious. Best to my recollection from several years ago when I first had it.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of cranberries.
Cranberries are very good.
Very good, very good.
Okay. A dessert, look at that.
And in cocktails. And this is the cranberry bliss bar. So it has a cream cheese topper with the cranberries on top.
Look at that.
There's also a baked, like a biscuit with cranberries in it.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
All right.
I mean, in terms of
this looks
dessert.
very good.
Yeah.
This is the cranberry bliss bar.
I'm trying not to kill you.
I know.
Well, you get diabetes.
That was very sweet. Mm-hmm. It's got a lemony
Yes.
I'm
going for a second bite.
It's fruity. Oh, okay. I feel like we're winning so far with
There
this
you go.
challenge.
Your
Okay.
turn.
I'm gonna have one too. I'm just gonna bite off of it because we're friends.
That's good enough.
It is a little cheesecakey.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being this cheesecakey before, but they might have changed it. But I do enjoy it. I do like a cranberry cheesecake.
But that's pretty damn good. This is the best so far.
Okay.
This is a win. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yay!
Sitting ovation.
Yay!
Good
All right,
job.
are we ready? Are we charged? Are we gonna
We're
go?
at 99%. I'm going to say that's good enough.
Let's
go. All right, Eileen, it is what, day 3?
Day 3.
Hard to believe.
Very long time in the car with you so far.
Yes, and you haven't killed me. My remains have not been strewn out on the prairie somewhere.
No,
so
we did.
We're doing all right.
We found several spots where I could dump you though, and you would never be found.
Several? You mean the entire drive?
Yes, there's a large
Like,
portion
there's a
of
lot of
Colorado
space
and
here.
Utah that we could have left you in.
If you want to get rid of somebody, it's a good place to do it. But yeah, day 3, we're in Idaho right now. We're heading to Oregon for our overnight, and then we will ultimately end up, of course, in Seattle. But what's the vibe check? What's your take on what's going on and how well the system's been performing?
So everything's been great. I genuinely feel that way. The cars, of course, have their quirks and faults and their highlights and their lowlights, as everything does. The system itself, though, the charging infrastructure, has been delightful. It has worked exactly as advertised.
Yep.
There's been a few things. Right, so when it talks about, load sharing in terms of, whichever car plugs in first gets charged faster and first, which is something we just experienced. And it kind of, that varies from location to location. And so that's an interesting kind of quirk of the system. And we know that from other charging locations.
One thing that's surprising, the chargers have been very reliable and work, as they should be. We talked about that earlier. But they're not delivering the speeds I expected. I haven't seen much beyond, I think the top I saw was maybe 170 on one of them.
Yeah, but I will say this, we stopped at an Electrify America station last night to top off kind of on our journey, and we didn't get above 121. So I feel like, and that was at 350. So I felt like maybe it's not you, it's me.
Maybe.
I'm not entirely sure what the equation is there. But you and I both know this. Preconditioning goes into it, as well as time and temperature. And today we don't have as extreme temperatures. It's about 50 right now. It had just started to rain. So we even with that though, we haven't had tremendously low or tremendously high charging. We
stopped for all of 7 minutes at that EA station, which was actually lovely. It was in beautiful condition, and the charger worked immediately. We stopped there for about 7 minutes and went from, I think, 21 or 23% up to almost 50.
Yeah,
in 7 minutes.
We stopped at 47%, which for $7, 7 minutes, 20-something% of range, that was fantastic.
Absolutely.
That is the real life on the go experience. You don't have to wait until you get down to 10%.
Don't.
To charge. And you don't. Like, you shouldn't. That was the position we were in. We're like, we could make it, but Craig and I both know from doing this all the time that there's all these
Things
variables.
can happen.
Right.
Exactly.
And it was chilly last night.
Yes,
it was
was.
in the teens last night.
Better safe than sorry. Now the other group in the other vehicle, they opted not to charge at EA, so they just went straight through. And I think they made it to the hotel with like around 11 or 12%. So plenty of buffer. But again, for 7 minutes of charging, I will gladly do that and be guaranteed to make it to the destination.
Right, and they were the ones who also said, like, we're cutting back on our speed because we want to make sure we make it there. Like, no, I would rather be safer than sorry.
Exactly.
But no, it's been great. I'm very impressed. I think that this charging network, this style with Volvo, as well as the Mercedes-Benz charging network, which are based around locations rather than just like on the go charging, I think that kind of makes the most sense for the biggest audience. And I think it's a mind shift, right, for most people on the go, but being able to stop and grab a coffee and sit and have your coffee or sit and do your work like you and I at the last stop, sat for about 45 minutes and knocked out a bunch of emails.
Was it that long?
It wasn't about that long.
It didn't feel that long. But honestly, you're in the Starbucks with your laptop doing some stuff, and suddenly the car's at 96%, we can leave. But also you had she stopped off at the Rafael Brothers, the Arby's. Look that up if you don't know what I'm referencing.
Yeah.
You had a nice sandwich, and you've got some fry crumbles all over the cup holder, so thank you.
Yeah, fry tailings.
Tailings.
You were teasing me about Rafael Brothers much earlier in this trip, and I've been having it in the back of my mind, and we had the option of having another lunch at Starbucks and more Starbucks food, which while lovely every now and then, that's a lot of Starbucks we've had during this trip. And so I was like, I just want something else. And I went with the roast beef sandwich, which of course, you know, fed my soul and my arteries. And I enjoyed my little bit of Rafael Brothers.
If it's doing that to the carton, imagine what it's doing to your innards.
Slick.
Exactly.
Slick stomach.
Delicious.
That's where we're at. It was delicious.
Salty.
But I also had a salad last night for dinner, and
That's
you had
true.
a steak.
I did. And it was a very good steak. But yeah, so far so good on this trip. We are, I think, past the halfway point now.
We're far past the halfway point. Yeah, we only have, I think, about 700 miles to go.
Yep. Eileen may have just had the meats, but now it's time for the sweets. Here comes the beast of burden with her tray of victuals.
I have brought you all the things.
I can see that. I hope they're good.
I mean, no guarantees. But it is warm. I did make sure I got you a hot beverage today.
So
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
I will tell you that it is coffee-based.
Coffee-based.
Okay. And I want you to try it.
Okay.
And tell me your tasting notes, and then I think you're going to absolutely hate it. And
Very
I can't wait.
frothy.
Well, I mean, aren't we all this time of day?
Okay. Well, you might see a doctor about that. Am I detecting notes of pumpkin spice?
Absolutely not. Good news, you're wrong.
Okay, it smells like pumpkin pie, but let's do a sip here. Now that actually, okay, that's not bad. It's just way too sweet.
Does it taste like diabetes?
It's pre-diabetes. I've only had one sip.
Okay, have more.
Okay, is that like a hot chocolate something?
No.
Is there a mint?
No.
What? Oh my!
0 for 3. It is the Holiday Cheer Chestnut Praline Latte.
Okay.
Which comes with some sort of a sauce / syrup.
Okay.
The coffee base, the frothy latte, as well as some whipped cream and some, I'm assuming, pralines on the top. I can't tell. This photo is very non-specific. I felt that you're a nut man.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, you like earthy foods, so I thought a chestnut would be a good starter for this.
This isn't bad. This isn't bad. It's
Are you going to keep drinking it once we turn off the camera?
I will probably have a few more sips and then discreetly pour it into the parking lot. And this is the old standard. This is the blonde roast.
Tall blonde roast.
Oh yeah, that's what I expected. Coffee, bitter, burnt,
just like me.
Sour, like me. I was thinking. We're in Washington State. We crossed the border, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, and we've been driving through the worst fog that I've ever seen.
This is actually the best it's been in a while. It's been awful.
We can actually see the lines now, but before, man.
It was like a blizzard.
And of course people were passing us too. Guess they just wanted to crash, I don't know.
No, speed limit 70, we were going as low as like 30 through parts of it, so no, this is getting a lot better. We must be almost to the river.
We can see now, yay!
Huzzah! All right.
Drop that hammer! Woo!
Thor's hammer headlights, let's go.
After many, many more Starbucks stops, day 3 is a wrap. From Twin Falls, Idaho, we covered about 418 miles over some 10 hours, ending up in Richmond, Washington, where we'll rest our weary bones for the night, dreaming of Earl Grey mocha caramel chais with 2 pumps of vegan mayonnaise. Or whatever. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a real drink, but you know what I mean. So Eileen, this is day 4. We're wrapping up the drive. What's the plan for today?
Well, the plan for today was to leave the hotel on time, and so far we haven't done that.
But I wonder why.
We are striving to do that. We are currently passing some gorgeous vineyards. So we started in Richmond, Washington. We're headed toward Seattle, Washington, the home of this small coffee company that we've become accustomed to on this trip, the Starbucks. We're hearing the sirens call today as we head towards Seattle. Yeah, that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, so we're going to do a quick charging stop in Yakima,
Yakima,
It's
yes.
about an hour away from where we're at right now.
The
and then
metropolis from what I understand.
The bustling metropolis of Yakima.
I don't know about busts. Bustling metropolis of Yakima.
So we'll charge up there, I think something to 70%, somewhere
90.
around there. It's 90?
90.
Okay. Well, then we need that to get all the way to Seattle, which is another hour or two beyond.
Yes, it
But,
is.
yeah.
We're going all the way across the state today. We are
Literally.
very close to the Oregon line. Yeah, and hopefully we have better weather today than we did yesterday.
Well, it's already gorgeous and the skies look relatively clear, so I'm optimistic.
Very good. With a glass of wine at the end, I hope.
Lord
Washington
willing.
State wine, perhaps.
No, I'd like something from the Loire Valley.
I'm fine with that as well. I'm going to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
As luck would have it, the good conditions didn't last, giving way to monsoon rains in the mountains of western Washington, which I guess really shouldn't be a surprise. Still, neither rain nor snow, fog, or questionable directions from Google kept us from reaching our destination. Well, we finally made it to soggy Seattle after more than 1,300 miles on the road. And of course, this is the last official stop of the trip, Starbucks World Headquarters, just in case we didn't get enough caffeine and snacks the last few days. So the new rear-wheel drive versions of the C40 Recharge and XC40 Recharge proved to be surprisingly excellent road trip vehicles. These SUVs are quiet, comfortable, efficient, and I'll tell you, very easy to live with. But even more impressive than the vehicles is the new charging network. It worked fantastically well on this trip. Of course, it is new, so it should work well, but we'll have to check it out again perhaps in a few months or years to see how it's going. But those chargers are well placed, about 100 miles apart. They deliver decently quick charging, and of course they are at safe and familiar Starbucks locations. I was skeptical because we could have had trouble at about 1 million different points along this trip, but it was remarkably trouble-free. And of course, the route that they have put together with those chargers goes through some of the most beautiful sections of the country. So if you are looking for an adventure and you've got a little bit of time, you should check out this route, even if you drive an EV. Hey there, thank you so much for watching this video, but up next, click right over here to check out my feature all about the new Volvo EX30, an all-electric SUV that offers so much for so little.